Hello, good evening. My name is Rika Levin. I am the mayor of the village of Ossining, and I wanted to welcome you for a long-awaited meeting about the wonderful youth bureau that we are building in Ossining. Of course, key to all of that is Mike Garcia, who is the youth bureau director, and of course, Karen Diatori, who is our village manager. I just want to take a moment to welcome everyone, to let people know it's being recorded. I'm going to talk. I'm going to turn it right over to Michael Garcia. Take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Levin. Again, I'm Michael Garcia. I'm the Youth Bureau Director, and I've been the director since August of 2021. I'm going to share my screen so that we can get started. Okay. So this is the Ossining Youth Bureau Youth Advisory Board Overview and Plan. And so Ossining is the first youth bureau in New York State in 30 years. This was done with the support of key community members, local and community governments, and the Westchester County Youth Bureau. Portchester and Yonkers were reestablished, so there were actually 3 youth bureaus that were started in Westchester County recently. So a youth bureau is an agency created by counties and cities or a town or village with a total population of 20,000 or more for the purpose of planning, coordinating, and supplementing the activities of public, private, and religious agencies devoted to the welfare and protection of youth. This is as per New York State statute, and Ossining meeting the standard, the Board of Trustees by resolution authorized the submission of an application to create such a local youth bureau. From that application, it was approved by the County of Westchester, and it must abide by the requirements of the New York Executive Law, Article 19-A, and the regulations of the Office of Children and Family Services. The mission statement of the Ossining Youth Bureau is to connect youth to positive services and programs that will help promote education, physical and emotional health, civic engagement, economic security, healthy choices, and a sense of belonging to the community. There are steps that Ossining must carry out to build the capacity of the Youth Bureau. This is something that all youth bureaus must do, and we are in the process of doing ours. And the next steps include creating a youth advisory board, which is the purpose of this webinar, to give the community information and to reach out to the community and hopefully find solid advisory board members. Developing a youth council, conduct or join a needs assessment, and to develop youth board bylaws. And this is going to be done with the youth advisory board once it's in place. So from review of other youth bureaus, Ossining's adopted code, as well as the application submitted to the county to request a youth bureau, the following statement was developed to provide an overview of the Youth Advisory Board's role. The Youth Advisory Board's focus is to meet local youth needs through advocacy and recommendations on policies and plans to promote positive youth development and/or prevent delinquency and youth crime. Ultimately, as a community, as much and however possible, developing positive programs for youth develops young people's strengths and abilities, but it also can reduce and prevent risky behavior. And ultimately, it's a win-win for the youth, it's a win-win for parents, and it's a win-win for community. And the Youth Advisory Board is extremely important in carrying out the Youth Bureau's mission. Promoting the participation by the community can only make the Youth Bureau much more successful, and in turn, supporting the community. So the Youth Advisory Board and its members have requirements. And to give you a sense, here are a few of the requirements. They're appointed by the Village Board of Trustees. They serve without compensation. Offices appointments coincide with the village's fiscal year. Appointees are of diverse backgrounds from neighborhoods throughout the village, and they provide demonstrated concern and interest in the needs and problems of youth. And these are expectations and requirements of Youth Advisory Board members. Additionally, Some of the requirements are that appointees must attend 75% of scheduled meetings. Removal of a member lies with the Village Board of Trustees, and the chairperson is appointed by the Village Board of Trustees serving a one-year term, not exceeding two one-year terms. Appointment by members of the Youth Advisory Board shall conform to all applicable federal, state, local laws, rules, and regulations regarding equal opportunity and affirmative action. I just want to say a caveat here. These are the initial steps that we're following to get the Youth Advisory Board in place. And it's extremely important that we get it in place so we can actually carry out the business at hand. If you're looking for additional information, you can find it on the Ossining Youth Bureau page. And later in the presentation, we'll have a QR code that you can actually scan for that. So the makeup of the Youth Advisory Board includes a 15-member board of village residents. And the members comprise of 10 community members, 2 Village Board of Trustees, and 3 youth ages 16 to 21. Again, a reason why youth involvement is extremely important in the community, and it's going to be important in the Youth Council as well. And then the Youth Bureau Director as ex officio member. Offices of the Youth Advisory Board are selected by majority consensus. From review of other youth advisory boards in the county, it seems that the only other offices that happen are vice chairs and secretaries. So that seems to be the standard. And again, once the board is appointed, their role will be to further develop the bylaws and establish their own structure. So to become an advisory board member, the process is relatively simple. You can apply through the village website, similar to other village boards and committees. Applications and resumes meeting aforementioned criteria will be vetted by the Village Board of Trustees, and interviews and final selections will be made by the Village Board of Trustees. And then the appointment of a chairperson and date of first official meeting shall occur. And again, at the lower right of the screen, you can see the QR code. So for the Youth Council, the work actually started in 2020, in June of 2020. And Ossining has already had, school and other community programs that have been developing youth skills over the last few years. And Ossining's doing a lot of great things. And the Youth Council is an opportunity for youth to participate in a different way. The Youth Council will be comprised of youth from throughout Ossining. The development is coinciding with the advisory board, so you'll be getting more information in the coming days as far as Youth Council meeting that will be similar to what we're doing here, a webinar. The Youth Bureau Director has oversight, and it's to provide a youth voice on the local, state, and national levels, and carry out civic engagement, community projects, and programs of their design. Ultimately, what the Youth Council does is to be determined because it's their council. It is meant to be run by them. The voice is theirs, and it's a huge opportunity for youth in the community. Again, the leadership roles that have already been developed in the community, this is another way for them to be utilized. And it really does allow them to have a different exposure to leadership. And so it's important to push youth towards the council if you know of individuals who would be good representatives for the community. And that's where the advisory board also comes into play, because their exposure in the community, their knowledge of the community can also help support the Youth Council and what the Youth Council does. And be reminded, the Ossining Youth Bureau, again, as I mentioned earlier, is the first in 30 years. And people are eager to hear what Ossining has to say, because it took a lot of effort to have Ossining have a youth bureau, and people are watching us. And so what we present will be extremely important. A needs assessment is in the process of being done with the county on the county level, but there's no clear picture as to what that might look like when it comes to the local level and what the data that's being collected will actually be. So we don't know that yet, but that doesn't stop Ossining from pursuing what we're going to do for our needs assessment. But again, we still need to have a youth advisory board in place. We need the youth council in place so that their information and their focus and their voice are heard. They can review where we are. They can plan the what, how, and when, and engage the community in a different way. Needs assessments are used to find out where we are and what specific things are needed in this community. Again, I mentioned the county needs assessment, but that is at the county level. So until we get more information, we won't really be able to know if we'll be able to use any of the data from that. So I'd like to thank a few people. Karen DeTore, thank you for your support. Jamie Hoffman, thank you for your support. Doing this kind of thing is not my thing, but I'm learning, so I appreciate that. And many of the community members out there, I've gotten a lot of support from the community. They are interested in the Youth Bureau. I've done a lot of outreach, and I appreciate all those that have been working with me thus far. And at this time, we will take questions from the chat, and also those who raise their hands virtually. Jamie will allow you in, and this information will be available by tomorrow on the web blast, as well as on the social media pages, and ultimately on the village website. So thank you for tuning in, and Jamie, let us know if there's any questions.
I certainly will. Can we stop sharing just so that I can see the participants better? Thank you.
While you're doing that, Jamie, may I just thank Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff, who I see is on, who has always been amazingly supportive of this initiative amongst many others.
Speaking of Sandy Galiff, she has her hand raised, so I'm going to bring you over. I'm going to promote you to a panelist. If you'd like, you can turn on your camera. It'll take just a moment for you to come over.
I really don't need to be a panelist.
Well, it's just so that the people in the audience can see you. It's the only way. Otherwise, all they can do is hear you.
Right. Thank you, Rika, so much. But I think this is so exciting. I just wondered if Michael had some thoughts about some of the goals. I guess when you established it, you had to write up a reason. Do we have any? I know the advisory board will think of the goals, but do you have any in mind that you think we ought to do? And where is it going to be located? I think I missed that.
Okay, so the Youth Bureau is located in the Caputo Community Center,
Okay.
right along with Recreation. So that's where my office is. That's where, you know, when the DRI renovations happen, there will be movement here to make space or specific space for that, for the Youth Bureau. But as far as goals, really it's to get up and going, you know, secure funding for programming, because it's a different approach. Ossining has never done this before. So, you know, I can thank Westchester County Youth Bureau and White Plains Youth Bureau. They've been extremely helpful and supportive in getting us funding to start programming. And so we're seeking other funding as well. But funding is important because the goal is to offer programming in Ossining that is free. Currently, things that happen at Recreation are typically paid for. There are some free programs, but a majority of them, you have to have the membership and then you have to pay for additional funds for the programs. So finding ways to offset those costs is a huge goal of mine. And hopefully with the assistance of the advisory board and bringing in more funding, that those kinds of things will happen very easily.
Can I just ask one more? How are you going to connect with the schools? How do we deal with that?
So I've already connected with the school. I've met Dr. Sanchez a few times already, and with Megan, and with Giselia Lopez. So I've got connections in the school, and it's figuring out what the school is doing. They're doing a lot of stuff and a lot of good stuff. How do we partner on some things? So, you know, they're used to getting emails from me asking questions, probably at least once or twice a week. just to get clarity of what they're doing, because I'm hearing things are happening or I'm seeing something that's possible. So I think that the relationship will continue to build. But a lot of what's going on is that I'm learning sort of what they do, because they do a lot of things in the community.
Thank you. It's very exciting. Now, you want to take me off your panel?
So we did get a couple of questions in the chat. First question, Mike, if I can ask you to address it, is what is the age for participation in the Youth Council?
In the Youth Council, so the plan is to start it at 12, because ultimately we need to build capacity of the Youth Council, and having kids have the experience over a few years. When they become 16, they'll be very ready to participate in the advisory board. The board does have age requirements. The council does not, other than, you kind of need to be able to participate. So 12, excuse me, to 21 is what we could do. But I think 12 to 18 is probably where we're going to stick with, especially as we're developing it.
Great. The next question we have is from Alice Joslow. She is asking how many people are attending this session. We had 11. Now we have 10, but we had 11. I hope that answers your question. And then Nikisha Reynolds, who's actually a member of our Rec Advisory Board. She posted on here, she said, just excited for what this program will bring the Austin community. Looking forward to this being a fantastic outcome for our youth. And she's a very active member in our
Thank you.
Rec Advisory Board. Now let me go back to the attendee list. Is there anyone here else that would like to ask a question? I can bring you over. Don't be shy. Going to do what Rika calls the dance. See, give everybody another minute. So it doesn't look like we have anyone else. We now have 11 people again. So I'm assuming that no one else has any questions. I'm sure that if you do have questions and you don't feel comfortable asking, you can email Mike Garcia at mgarcia@villageofaustin.org.
I'll go back to the share.
Yeah.
Does that help it?
It does help. It's on the bottom right. His email. You can also reach him through our website. If you click on his name on the Youth Bureau page, it'll take you directly to him, a private email. We did get another post on here from Alice Joslow that just says, not a question, just so grateful to Michael for all of his outreach and partnering. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And again, the QR code is here for
Jamie?
anyone who's interested.
I know we got one more. Sorry.
Yeah.
It came in just a second ago. So Michael, if you don't mind, so another one from Nikisha Reynolds. Is there a deadline for filling the application for either board or youth council?
For the council, we'll be sharing that information within the next few days. For the advisory board, Karen, I'll let you answer that question.
We will put a deadline on this. Our goal is to we'd like to have this started by end of March. So we will be putting a deadline. We thought we would give approximately 3 weeks, I think was what we decided on for people to get their applications in.
And again, the QR code takes you directly to the application.
We'll make sure that the application, the deadline's posted on the application. We'll post it out with the information.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any more questions. I don't know if there's anyone else that would like to raise your hand. Happy to answer. Okay. Did you want to move forward with the close of your meeting?
I will. I will just say again, thank you.
Oh, wait, hold on. We got another
Amy,
one.
another
Another
we're getting more.
It's from our assistant village manager, Maddie Zahaj. She said, if I missed this presentation, how can I see it again? Michael, do you want to address that?
I will address it. So it'll be available in the web blast. It will be available on the village website. And it will also, what was the last one?
It'll be
Website?
on the website.
Yeah, okay, the website
And we are going to push it out via social media.
social media pages as well.
Yes.
So you will be able to see it, and if you want to share it with your friends or anybody else who's interested, please do so. We are very excited to have people in our community apply for to be on the Youth Advisory Board, so we can really move forward with the good work that Mike has started already and work to enrich the lives of our youth.
And I'll just add, I've mentioned this to many people I've spoken to so far, and meetings that I've been in throughout the village and town. The advisory board members really need to be representative of the community, and we really want to reach every corner of the community. So we really need people to identify individuals who may be good candidates, and have them apply. The more people that apply, the more diversity there is, and the more opportunity for us to have a really solid, strong advisory board. Because it's not just about your neighborhood. In some cases, it's about your experience and your knowledge. I actually tuned into the Rec Advisory Board, and to hear them operate, like, that is my ideal, to have board members that have varied experiences, being able to actually delve deep into data, or delve deep into creating a plan for the year, having them do that kind of work to support what the Youth Bureau is doing, but also grant writing. Like, that is a huge thing. Someone who's interested in grant writing or has experience in grant writing, getting someone like that from the community onto the advisory board, they have the experience of not only the community, but of their professional experience. And we really need to have a diverse board. That's my pitch. Was there anyone else, Jamie?
No one else that I can see. I know that Alice had asked a question. We're now at 12. So that's how many people are in attendance, which we think is great. We're really happy with that. If there's any other questions, I'll give you another moment. And then if not, then we will wrap it up, and I will end the meeting and post it tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. You want to wrap up with your email?
Yeah, again, I'm Michael Garcia. I'm the Youth Bureau Director. My email is mgarcia@villageofaustin.org. If you see the QR code in the lower right corner, that is where you can go directly to the Youth Advisory Board application and fill that out. It will give us the basic information as well as uploading your resume. And we want it to be representative of the community and have people who have demonstrated connection to youth and wanting to see good things for youth and have had that experience, so they know how to do it.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Again, this will be posted tomorrow.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night and join us
Night,
at
everybody.
7:30 for our regular board meeting, for our work
Thank
session.
you.